Hello.
Whoa! I just realized I was muted. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. Welcome back to Rubber Duck Thursdays. Happy Thursday. I'm Cassidy. I'm on the GitHub team, and joining me for the first time is our teammate Gwen. Hey, Gwen. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Gwen. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Of course. What are you working on right now, Gwen?
Have you, well, I know you've heard of it, but have you played around with the GitHub? I think they're called agentic workflows.
Oh,
Is that
I
right?
haven't played with it yet.
Might be butchering that.
No, yeah,
I gotta look it up.
agentic workflows. I think there's going to be more information about it coming out soon. I haven't played with it myself yet, but I've heard great things.
Yeah, I was looking through the docs trying to put some stuff together, but I think the idea of it is fascinating. So I'm
Yeah,
playing around with it. Thursdays are my play around with things day because
nice.
it's packed with meetings.
Mhm.
So you have like those little moments where you can like prompt something, but then you got to go into a meeting and then you come back, you know?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, no, Thursdays are very much like my vibe coding days where, like you said, lots of meetings, lots of live streams and stuff, and so I kind of just say, like, "Fix this bug," and then I go back and debug it in between calls.
what are you up to?
I'm currently messing with a project that, it's a UI on top of GitHub Gists, because I like GitHub Gists, but I want them to be prettier, and so it mostly just, like, playing with that and figuring out, like, a nice editing experience for that. We'll see how that goes. I'm, like, very lightly pushing things to my own GitHub repo, and we'll see how it
Love
goes
it.
from there.
Just
Yeah.
push to prod. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, just make it go live. Um, ooh, our names just appeared. What just happened? I'm not gonna question it. That's
Just go
us.
with it.
You know,
Just
we're just going with it. We've
go
got
with
people
it.
from all over the world here. We've
I
got
was
South
about to
Africa,
say,
Madagascar, India, Mexico. Wow. Welcome, everybody. How's it
love it.
going? What are y'all working on? We would love to hear it. We have
Someone said, I bet you I can create a multimodal AI music generator for creating songs from any genre.
ooh, okay. Do it.
Do
I
it
want
now
yeah,
before the stream
right
ends.
now. Yeah, we would like to see it. Um, that's cool. And I think what's interesting about this era is, like, a lot of times this era and time in tech, you probably can make whatever you want because we have the power of AI, where I have so many side projects that have been just, like, languishing away in, like, my notes doc that I make for myself of just, like, project ideas that I never
Mhm.
have actually pursued. And granted, now I just have, like, 100 unfinished projects rather than, like, 4 unfinished projects and 100 not started projects, but you can. And it's fun to get, like, that proof of concept up, and you're like, "Huh, that is a cool project," or, I didn't actually need to put effort into that one."
Do you find yourself multitasking more?
I feel pressured to multitask more, but I don't.
Okay.
And I feel like that's something where, like you said before, I do vibe code between meetings where, like, I'll prompt something and stuff,
Mhm.
but I feel like I should be always having agents going and always having something happening behind the scenes because
I
we
have that
have the
feeling too.
technology.
It
But
feels weird though.
it's weird. Yeah, like, I don't need to, but I could. Should I? I feel like that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah. I feel like I try to vibe just once at a time. I
Yeah.
can't do the multiple things going at the same time.
I think I also have a control problem. I wanna see the code.
Me too. I was literally about to ask, are you a VS Code or CLI?
Yeah, I use the CLI sometimes, but I still have my IDE up at all times just because I kinda wanna see what's going on, and there are times where, like, I think, "Okay, I could prompt it to change this animation, but I also know how to do this myself. I'm just gonna do it."
Are you still manually coding?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. And I'm not ashamed of that. Yeah, I can still code. The way I said it, but,
How
like,
dare you?
it's probably slow compared to just asking a bot to do some of the basic syntax stuff, but I also still care about the syntax stuff. There was an article that I read recently, and I'm going to pull it up while I'm talking out loud. There was an article I read recently that was called, like, "We Mourn Our Craft," and I felt very seen by it because it was like, "Oh, I found out. Wow, that was way faster than I expected it to be. I'm gonna put it on the stage. Blam." Um, and it's like, I didn't ask for the role of a programmer to be reduced to that of a glorified TSA agent reviewing code to make sure that AI didn't smuggle something dangerous into production. And, like, I as he was talking about this, like, I don't know if I felt that extreme, but at the same time, there were a lot of points that he made where I was just like, it's true. We kind of embrace this new world of like, you
Mhm.
sustain because you do know how to code, but then eventually your junior colleagues will code circles around you because they have these jetpacks of AI. Or like, I don't necessarily worry about being behind. And I still think that technical skills and the ability to code are valuable, but it is different now.
You know how it's like cool to read now? You think it'll be it'll be like that, but for like manual coding in like a couple of years?
I wonder. 'Cause like, I wonder if it's going to go by the way of, like, punch cards where people are like, "Whoa, you used punch cards?" Or is it going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like, "Whoa, you still handwrite these functions, and you can." Like, stationery and, like, really cool pens are really, like, trendy right now. I have succumbed to that. I have this, like, glittery pen. It's so cool. It's not very practical, but I can write things
Yeah,
really
love
well.
it.
Um, and I still like writing in a notebook, even though it's way more efficient to just type. And so I wonder if it'll be that kind of dichotomy, like you said, where like some things are more like handcrafted. I did this with my brain. That's unheard. I don't know. Who would think that code is like artisan like that? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have that much of an attachment to the lines of code.
The syntax.
Yeah, because I have an operations background. And honestly, I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder because people used to call us script kiddies, but now Bash is like everyone's like, "Oh, agent skills Bash," you know. So now I feel
Yeah,
like we're
you're
having a
just
little
like,
bit of a, "Hey, I was doing this back, when we were working on 2006 R2 servers,
yeah.
so so it's nice to come back and like but like with the bash stuff, that stuff I do look at and I'm like, no, this is not good bash. But like the
Yeah.
code, the Python code, I'm like, this is probably fine. It's so interesting. It's like what
Yeah.
and it's cool because it also enables people from like a bunch of backgrounds to come and kind of make a lot of similar things.
Right, and, like, I do think we're entering, like, the era of personal tools where, like, if there's not an app that does it for you, you could vibe it, and then suddenly you have an app that does exactly what it needs to do for you. Does it matter that the code is good? I don't
Yeah.
know.
If it
I guess
works, if it works
yeah,
for you.
if it works for you, then great. It's a debate. It's hard to decide.
Yeah, like what should software be? Like, have you heard of like the single purpose device movement?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I realized that it was a movement, but I've definitely fallen for that. I have, like, a
yeah.
dedicated camera and stuff.
Yeah. So like instead of having the one app that does everything, you just have like 10 apps that do the things you want them exactly the way you want them. I think
Right.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. And I kinda like that, yeah, because then it's like, it does what it says on the tin. It is just that one task.
That's it.
Yeah, we're one of the apps that I made for myself pre-AI, was it creates W-9 forms for contractors. Because whenever I, like, would give a talk at a conference when I was doing a lot more contracting work before GitHub, I needed to get a W-9, and every single time I had a W-9, it was the exact same form, I just needed the date to be different, and so I just made it so it just generates the date, generates the PDF, I can send it, and it's easy. It does one task and one task well. Now I feel like all things should be just that way. Like, do the one task I need you to do. Don't
Yeah.
need to fluff it up too much.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like ensuring quality. I feel like it'll stabilize though, because everyone's hopping onto this now. But
Right.
we'll get there.
We're
Just like
on the
all the other
hype
things.
train
Yeah,
era.
exactly, exactly. I have a
Yeah.
lot of hope for these new tools. Chat is saying, let's see. I saw someone talking about that they also are not a big fan of multitasking. Where
Mm.
I lost it. Hold
I
on.
lost it too. There's a lot of chat coming from Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn, and so if we miss you, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I feel pressure
Okay.
to multitask more too. Yeah. I'm a start to finish person one at a time,
I
probably
like
smart,
that. Yeah.
but I should. I end up tweaking CSS more often than not. That's true, same. I feel like I'm always, like, making it look just a little bit nicer. I feel like, currently, as of today, I'm better at CSS than a lot of AI tools. But that's because I don't just like throw Tailwind at it. But
I was about to say I'm a Tailwind person.
yeah. And no hate to Tailwind. It gets the job done. One of the projects I'm vibe coding right now, it does do Tailwind. But there's some little things where I'm like, I'm going to do this animation the way I want it to. I know the nuance of like what I want it to be. And that's because it's a tool for me.
Can you tell when a project is a Tailwind project?
Instantly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Granted, it's usually when people don't update the Tailwind or customize the Tailwind styles at all. If I open up like the console inspect element, instant tell. Otherwise, it's one of those where like, if they've customized it a lot, maybe I can't tell. But there's some things where you're just like, okay, they're using this bento box thing. They're probably using the pros class to style a text here. Like there's some things where you can just kind of tell. Yeah. Specialization is key. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What are people building?
Yeah, please tell us. I love hearing what different people are building. I'm working on a blog series for GitHub right now that will hopefully go out soon, maybe starting next week, where it's like how hubbers are building AI tools for themselves. And it's been really interesting speaking with people because some people, they're just like, oh, I just made this workflow that like summarizes all the tickets that I completed. And I'm like, don't say just, that's awesome. And then there was another person where she made it so it pulls in all of her to-do lists for work and personal stuff, like Google Tasks and from Outlook and from like Work IQ and all these different things into one place. So she always has a list of tasks that she needs to do, and she hooked up 11 Labs to read it out loud to her, summarizing like, what does your day look like in a given day? I thought that was so clever to just like have things summarized in a certain way. So anyway, it's neat to see what people build for themselves.
I saw this website and I think you're going to like it. Unless you've seen it already. It's called Tiny Tool Town.
Tiny Tool. I've seen the URL tossed around, but I haven't actually looked at it. So let me pull it up.
Tinytooltown.com. Chat. Check it out. I think it's pretty neat.
Ooh.
You just show off your tools.
Delightful tools. I like that. Made for an audience of one. I feel like we're going to see that a lot more in the industry.
Yeah. So people just sharing their tiny tools.
A toast notification CLI. I like that. The Windows Edge Light. That's a Scott Hanselman one. Yep. There's his name. These are cool. Yeah. Like I'm gonna have to go through some of these.
So people have tiny tools. I think they have a way of submitting stuff. Check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, share your tiny tools.
Yeah, submit via GitHub issue. Love it.
Love it.
That's great. That's how I feel like this is something that we're trending towards as an industry, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I do think there's a lot to say about how AI is being pushed everywhere. I use AI every day, and yet I'm an AI skeptic, and so like I think
Me too.
There's just a thing that you have to live with that. But I like this era of personal tools. I feel like that feels good.
It feels like early. I can't say early internet because I wasn't early internet, but I was like MySpace.
Yeah,
days.
Like Neopets era.
Yeah. You know, you had your own thing, looked completely different than someone else's.
It was like weird, but it was cool because it was weird.
Yeah, everyone was doing it, you know. And then we all became so uniform, and now we're going back to this like everyone do their own thing.
That's true. I love that angle of it because it's very true. Where like there was a point where I saw that there was some website where it was just like every single homepage of every website looks like linears right now. and it was true. Where there was always like a little bento box, Tailwind, rounded corners thing. There was always the same testimonials. It was always mostly black and white with like a hint of color. And so, yeah, it's nice to see that it's kind of weird. I like the weird angle of stuff.
I gotta say, websites were getting a little too complex for me there. Like what's that thing called like parallax or that's once we got there, I'm like, I'm just trying to like submit a form here to get an appointment with
Why is it moving?
dermatologist. Why is this happening?
Wait, okay, they're just speaking of like really complex websites. There's this one website that Shopify made relatively recently. Let me find Shopify Renaissance. They do like a I think it's called the editions where it's just like the state of the world. Um their edition this year was the most complex animations on a website I've ever seen.
Interesting.
Where first of all, look at this parallax
Okay.
moving your mouse, but then as you
All right.
scrolled, look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That is.
And then it would like talk about like, okay, release, product release, which this is very cool. I don't want to diminish the product release, but I also want to show the next Renaissance painting where they're happening to flip through a catalog. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So I appreciate this kind of artistry. Like this, I don't think AI could do. Sure, it probably assisted, but look at how like the paintbrush is flipping
Yeah.
as this like there is a lot of human love there. And I feel like because AI is getting rid of a lot of the boilerplate stuff, we get to see the humans be weird again. And that's been very exciting.
Yeah, because this feels like a story.
Yeah,
And I don't think LLMs are good at making real story. Like they can make like a generic story.
sure. But you
But
can tell when they've written something.
yeah, but I don't think they can story tell. I very much think that
Yeah,
skill is like specific to humans. So,
I
and this
very
is what
much
that
agree.
feels like. It's like a journey, start to finish. You get the
Yeah.
information. Yeah,
It's
I don't.
so cool. Yeah, I love the way you phrase that. I think that's very true. I'll stop featuring it now because my computer's like breathing very heavily. But it's so cool. They did use Tailwind, but they also used a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, I think that creativity is coming back to a lot of computing. Um, did you ever use what was it called, Rainmaker on your desktop way back in the day?
Was that like the background that would like
Where it would,
animate or
like, move.
something? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so good. I
Yeah.
feel like we're headed towards an era of, like, that kind of stuff on computers again, where you can have,
Mhm.
like, a really cool music player that matches your wallpaper, and that can be like, stuff where, yes, it's silly, but make computing personal again, you know?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Also, like if you have a need, you can just go and
Fill
fix
the
it
need.
and
Yeah.
fill the need. And like you don't have to wait on anyone. You don't have to like there's no like gate kept information anymore or
Right.
access.
Yeah, you don't have to figure out like, "Okay, this tool can kind of do most of what I want. I'll keep researching, da, 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 da." Like, there's still elements of that, but
Mhm.
there's also the ability to make things, and that is really nice.
I gotta ask, and then I'm gonna also ask the chat.
Yeah.
What's your model? What's your go-to stack actually? What's your setup?
Mm. So, I've tried to go away from, like, my usual web-based stack, and then, like, if it's a desktop app, using Electron, but the thing is, because the web stack is so popular,
Mhm.
JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, Tailwind, React, Electron, those kinds of things, the models are just better at it. Or like I've tried to do certain things being just like, it would probably be more performant if I used like Tauri and do a Rust-based desktop app or something.
Yeah.
The the LLMs just aren't as good at it. And so my go-to stack is web stuff where it's
Mhm.
it's usually a React app, which luckily, thank goodness I know React. Um, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or TypeScript. I know AI is pushing us towards type languages, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, that's my general go-to stack. And then lots of serverless functions. I
Okay.
haven't really built a full-on backend service yet with
Mhm.
LLMs because I'm too much of a skeptic for that.
What's your model? What's
Sonnet,
okay?
Claude Sonnet 4.5 until it gets too complex, then I switch to Opus. But I do want to try the new Codex 5.3. I've heard it's
Mhm.
really good.
Do you feel any sense of maybe not loyalty, but like when you work with something for a while where you're just like I'm just sticking to this? Like, do you feel that at all with the models?
I think I used to, not anymore. I feel like things change too often to be able to be attached to any one thing. I feel like if I were using more local models, I would probably feel that way where I'm like, "This does things well," and
Mhm.
for certain things, I can get away with local models. But if I'm using the stuff we do for work at GitHub, I might as well use the more popular ones. That being said, there have been moments where, like, was it Claude 3.5 or 4, something before Claude Sonnet 4.5, it did way too much. Where I was just like, "I'm gonna stick to the tried and true.
Yeah.
This is good enough. This model tries to recreate everything from scratch." But I've been very much trial and error, being like, "Shiny new? Okay, I'll try it," and then see what it does. What
That's
about
what
you?
that's what I love about GitHub Copilot. You have access to like so many, and I know this is gonna sound
Yeah.
like a
I know, it sounds so
shameless plug,
shilly, but it's
but
true.
but it's yeah, it's true. Like I'm not tied to anything. I think I I like Sonnet for sure. I would say that's probably like my go-to because just from like I'm familiar with it. I
Mm.
find that Opus is great, but lazy. And I find that
Mm.
Codex is very much like, well, you didn't tell me to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Like, just very like, I'm only doing this. Like, it doesn't kind of go out of its way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
feel that way
find,
about Gemini, where, like, it says, like, "It's done," and I'm just like, "No, you actually implemented dummy functions. I need you to implement this." And they're like, "Okay, done." And I'm like, "You're gaslighting me. No, it's not done." And that is when I switch models.
yeah, and I like to like, try them. And I try really to avoid like social media's opinion on models.
I
It's
agree.
hard though, because then I feel
Yeah.
like it's like placebo.
Yeah, where you're just like, "You're right. This one is great. Is it?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've seen a bunch of people have been posting about the things that they've been working on in the chat. Let's see. I created an AI-powered career migration tool that provides a roadmap to migrate from any career into something working with AI in an attempt to survive AI layoffs in the future. Interesting. That's a cool concept to figure out
Yeah,
how to like scale or angle your job in different ways. That's neat.
I like that.
What is this one? Building loss functions to enforce solid colors in latent diffusion models. Oh, that is cool.
I don't know what those words mean together.
So a lot of times when like let's just say you want an icon to be generated by an AI model.
Mhm.
A lot of times like it generally gets the vibe of like go you know what, let's just say we're trying to do this toast icon right here for toasty. The brown that's on like the left side of this eyeball might be slightly different from the brown on the right side of this eyeball
Okay.
because it's not actually generating like a solid color. It's generally this is the general vibe of what we're doing as it generates the icon. It's not like a perfect black and
Okay.
white, this is how it goes. And so enforcing solid colors is a really cool way of doing that because then it's just like it provides those guardrails to be just like, no, it should be this level of strictness between like hex colors and stuff.
Very
If I'm
cool.
understanding that correctly, but that is a real problem and very cool.
Published research on, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I know that's the
I think
website that,
where papers go, I pronounce
yeah,
it as arxiv, but I don't know if that's correct. But cool.
very cool.
See, it was a community security onion SOC on Azure to see how LLMs can interpret Nmap scans and pen test activity. Ooh, that security is way out of my wheelhouse.
I
I
like this. I like more operations focused type workloads making
yeah.
their way into using AI. I
Mm,
would like to, if you could share more details. I'm just curious as to like what this means. Like, you got some kind of rag thing going on here? Like, what's the
yeah.
situation here? It sounds cool though.
I love all of these different projects. A GitHub Actions workflow building multiple serverless blogs on push to main and syncs the output to its own S3 bucket. Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, and it's using Jekyll. Cool. Neat. I'm curious, are all the serverless blogs this is just also please add more details. Is it Is it multiple domains, or is it like putting all of these blogs like in the same CMS? What I want to know why there's multiple. I'm curious about what's happening there. Let's see. People are talking about local. Oh, this one. I created an AI assistant based on GPT, but with some optimization tricks to allow you to have a memory and go without the requirement to embed the whole history in the chat request. Nice. If you use the Copilot CLI, I recommend the compress command so that way you can condense things and save some tokens.
I got to catch up with all the commands that are available now.
It changes literally daily. I was playing with something yesterday and I was just like, wait, that's new. And then I looked at the release. I was like, oh, that's new as of an hour ago. Okay. And there's no docs yet because it's brand new and the docs are coming later. But yeah, that happens often.
Multiple releases a day. They're
cooking
on it. They're locked in.
Yeah, I quite literally can't keep up. This good for them. It's great. What's your advice for people starting out from zero that don't know any coding or anything? There's so much advice I can give you in this new world. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything that comes to mind first?
I think the contrary to popular belief, I genuinely, my opinion is that if you have an interest in this space field, whatever it is, you should pursue it if you are genuinely interested. And I don't mean like a lot of people are like, you have to be passionate. Like I think passion develops after you like struggle, you have momentum, you have success, and like then passion develops. But you know, that takes time. But if you have an interest, I still think it's worth pursuing. It's going to be difficult, but like I feel like every era of getting into tech has had its different difficulties, and it's more so about, you know, informing yourself, understanding the challenges, and then like working through them. But I'm all for like, yeah, if you want to do this, like there's no better time than now, I think, to be able to learn in such a customized way.
Yeah. And I also think that like it's a blessing and a curse that tech changes so much.
Yeah.
It's a curse because you're like, oh, how am I going to keep up? There's so many things that were true 2 years ago are not true today. But also it means that everybody's learning all the time. And so you could be learning something completely brand new today that a senior engineer is learning, and they might know a few tricks that like help them learn it a little bit faster, but everybody's still learning something new all the time. And that's a good advantage to have as you're trying to get into the industry.
Yeah. There's still also, again, against what you'll see on social media, there is still a lot of depth to the work that you have to do, and perhaps that's shifting. So like instead of maybe like the manual code, it's shifting to more planning and deeply understanding the architecture. But it isn't something like you can just sit down, you have no idea, sit down, write a couple of lines, and then boom, the work is done. Like that does not work.
Those one-shot prompts are a pipe dream in today's day, at least today's day and age.
Yeah.
Very, very cool for a prototype, but if you want to actually like make something, it's helpful to know some of the fundamentals. Are you still recommending, Gwen, for people to learn coding, like taking a intro to JavaScript class or whatever, or Python class?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm on our Python team, so of course I'm gonna say Python. But I feel like the great thing about learning how to build software is that it does force you to have this very modular way of thinking and like building blocks way of thinking that I feel like these new AI tools are just continuing to reinforce that they're important. Because when you think about like getting like a good prompt, building out a good system, it is very much still like, what is my problem? How can I break it apart? And then how can I plan alongside the LLM to do it? And I think, you know, programming is a great way to learn that way to think, that systems type thinking.
Yeah.
I don't really know of a other way to do it. But also like if you pick up, like I love Python Crash Course book. I like
Free Code
automating.
Camp has some good
Yeah, free
resources.
code camp. There's so much. There's so like if you pick one thing and you stick to it for, I don't know, a couple, like, depends on like how much time you have, like couple weeks, couple months, you can get through the basics and have plenty to like really be like someone capable of building things. But yeah, I just don't think you can. I don't know a better way of how to develop that type of thinking.
Yeah, I agree. Where I think like understanding coding, I'm more from JavaScript land. I think it's really good to understand how do conditionals work, like
Mhm.
if statements. I know that's a very basic thing for any coder to hear, which is like, oh, she's recommending if statements. But when you think about that, that is a very fundamental building block for so many different types of functions, understanding how functions work, loops work. A lot of these very, very basic primitive building blocks help so that by the time you are actually building actual products and everything, you have more of a structure of, okay, yes, AI might have built X, Y, and Z, but I understand how it works together. So if something is broken, I know it's probably over here or over there. And
Mhm.
like you said, I feel like it's a good logical thinking exercise as well, where it probably will be less about syntax and more about strategy moving forward in the industry, but it's still important.
Yeah, I mean, even like debugging, like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll manually go in there and like, what? Yeah, like why did you use this? Or like Python, we have like list comprehensions, and for some reason models like don't use them, even though like it's Pythonic. So then you'll go in and like, why didn't the model do this? You go and correct it, and that's stuff like you wouldn't know unless you've sort of taken time to like understand
Right.
syntax, stuff like that.
Yeah. I I might be somewhat alone in this, but I really, really love untangling legacy code. I think it's so fun to like just make a code base less gross and mess with a code base and make it clean. And
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes when using AI generated code, it feels like that where I'm just like, oh, I understand why you made these decisions. I understand why this is that, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna clean up this function myself.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna do some of that. And it's nice to kind of still use that logic to be like, it works this way now, but if I clean this up here, that means I can build XYZ feature later.
yeah,
And yeah, that's where a lot of the technical side helps to understand where things are going.
yeah. I feel like to me, in the way I kind of visualize it, is it's like now you generate this like big block of clay, and then your
Mhm.
job is to like shape it into something that is like, useful, whatever you're trying to create. And then you can continue like, and then let's say you're trying to make, I don't know, like a pen holder, and then you got something that looks like a pen holder, but then you want to add little like flair and details, and you can, like, you have to like continue chiseling away and all that kind of stuff, right? And yeah, there's like a lot of like it's like a lot of beauty, and like it's quite therapeutic to like go through and like, oh, I shaved a second off the startup time because I did that.
Right.
and 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 I think that's important too.
Yeah. That's what's been nice, like, when I work on my personal website, I write that code. That's, like, my little space to mess with, like, "Oh, I want the style to do this, I'm gonna move each pixel individually." If
Mhm.
I'm building a tool for myself that does stuff, I don't care as much about the results, depending on what the tool is.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like you said, it is kinda therapeutic to be just like, "This is the thing that I'm going to make a little bit perfect for myself."
Mm. Which we can have both. That's the cool thing about
That's true.
what this tools like. You can have
Yeah.
no no LLM code, all LLM code, half. You can have it all.
You can choose your own adventure.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think that's where I'm like, I do feel optimistic about it. I know that there's a very broad spectrum of, like, all AI or never AI
Mhm.
type mentalities on the internet very publicly, but I feel like a lot more people are in that
Middle ground.
quiet minority or quiet majority of people experimenting and being like, "How can I navigate this new world and have it all?"
Yeah, if the way I try to look at it is, it is a quite unique position to be in, where it's like completely new technology,
Yeah.
and it's just changing and shaping things, and to be at the like this thing started like just a couple of years ago, and to see where it's going and to be like actively using it is, I think that's kind of cool.
It is cool. I do think that, like, change can be scary, but I think it's pretty cool too. And we it'll be interesting to see how things change where, like, there is part of me that where I'm just like, "What is my job going to look like in 5 years? I don't know." But also at
Yeah.
the same time, it's kinda fun. I'm getting to ship things differently in ways that I haven't before, and, that's pretty exciting, if not a little nerve-wracking too.
I like Levi's point here because it kind of like, so you just asked, right, what is my job going to look like in 5 years? I feel like before AI, I was asking myself that.
Yeah,
So, and then to Levi's point here is like, once you ship it to prod, it's now your core code, regardless if an LLM generated it or not. I
I
100%
agree.
agree. Like, you don't, it's not just because an LLM like, is the one that generated the code. It's like, oh, it's not on me. It's like, it's still very much on you. So you still have
Right.
the responsibility of understanding it and everything and having like a good CI pipeline to ensure quality and all that kind of stuff. So there's
Yeah.
plenty of work. There's plenty of work.
There is a quote from an old IBM manual that I feel like everybody has seen, but it's also worth repeating where it was like, "A computer can't take accountability, so it shouldn't be trusted with a management decision,"
Yeah,
or something
I've
like
seen
that,
it.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, you still have to be accountable for the code that you ship. They're like, you can say like, "Oh, sorry, that was the automation that did that." It's
Yeah.
still your app. It's still
Yeah.
what has been shipped, and so own it.
Agreed. Agreed. Own it
Yeah.
and like improve it. Whatever it is that, whatever you qualify as owning it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same rules applied when we were copying from Stack Overflow. Exactly, exactly. Do you ever still go to
Stack
Stack
Overflow.
Overflow? I still do.
No. You do?
I've gone, like, twice in the past month, and I was like, "Dang, I used to live here." It's 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 like an old friend, but it's very quiet now.
The last time I was on Stack Overflow was when I was doing like Java and what's that IDE that's popular with Java, but like, oh man,
Eclipse?
no, it's a different name. Oh my goodness,
Before Eclipse.
NetBeans. NetBeans, is that
Oh,
a thing?
dang, back in the day. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I took one class. I did like one semester in college, and the intro to programming was Java, and we had to use NetBeans, and I don't remember what Java version it was. And there was something that I had figured out, and I saw someone asking. I was like, oh, I'm going to reply, and I felt so amazing that I
You're
could
just like,
reply.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
answer someone's question
yeah.
live on the internet."
Yeah, because Stack Overflow does have, well, I guess did have that reputation of like,
Yeah.
you do kind of have to. It is kind of, I don't know if culty is the right answer, but it's like a little bit of like, not anyone can answer these
Yeah,
questions.
no, like, there were points. It was gamified. I think it's very valid to be just like, "Yeah, I was able to do that." There was one month where I was in the top 2% of question answers, and I felt incredible.
Wow.
I It went downhill fast, but that 1 month felt incredible.
Did you ever use Experts Exchange?
Experts Exchange? No. I'm gonna
Is
pull
that
that
like a
up.
pre-Stack Overflow type thing?
Is it Experts Exchange?
I used Eclipse back in high school. Was Eclipse like IDE or more text editor? I can't remember it.
It was an IDE. I
Yeah,
remember because I used when I was first learning Java, I was using Notepad++, which
nice.
so old s I remember thinking it was so cool though, because I upgraded from Notepad to Notepad++, and I
Mm,
was just like, "Whoa, it has syntax highlighting? This is crazy." But I was still, like,
legit.
manually compiling my Java every time, and then when I ended up switching to Eclipse, I was like, "What is this autocomplete? People aren't going to know the exact syntax for,
It's
like,
crazy.
public static void main, parentheses args?"
Java has
The
so much boilerplate too.
So much. Yeah, but, like, when you look as kind of we're at, like, that next iteration or several iterations later of that now, where now I'm just like, "Why do I have to know that syntax? I can just tab complete, hit
Mhm.
enter, and that stuff," and I feel like there's always an era of, but if we have this tool, we will forget, and you still are able to ship. Autocomplete has only gotten better. All of the tools have only gotten better. Could someone still do a full like Java system in Notepad++ today? They could, but why would they?
Experts exchange were static when they put the hyphen between experts and exchange. What? Okay, now
You know, don't. This is a work channel, and so we'll leave it at that. I looked at experts exchange, and it looks like it is not what it once was, or maybe it is.
Someone said the dash is very important.
Yeah, that dash is very important, and
Okay.
I will leave it at that.
Appreciate that.
It looks like it's basically welcome to the home of human intelligence. I think it's like a Stack Overflow, but for human questions. Sure. I could see that being helpful for some things specifically, but the thing that was the most that like it's like a foreign concept now, for me at least, on Stack Overflow was you would ask a question, you'd have to wait. Be just like, hopefully someone asks a question.
You refresh, see if you got a notification.
Yeah, I remember like desperately asking questions at like midnight, doing homework in college, being just like, I really need help on this. I'm fully lost. And then people being just like, you didn't phrase your question well, instead of like just giving me answers. It is pretty nice now to be able to like try something, do your Google foo. If you can't find it, you can ask an LLM and it'll give you a pretty tailored response. That part's pretty nice.
Yeah. Here's a opinion I feel like I see a lot too is I'm using Stack Overflow like all the time because I don't want to depend on ChatGPT. So it reduces the amount of learning so much. You're just bound to just copy and paste the code and feel like you're learning, but actually you are not. Plus it helps me remember the syntax.
That's fair. I do think that like what was good about Stack Overflow and a lot of those kinds of forums and stuff in general is that like it forced you to not just take answers that you were copying and pasting, but like you had to know how to change it to fit your use case. Like sometimes you could just copy and paste and move on with your life. Sometimes you had to be like, okay, this gets most of what I want there, and I just need to tweak it a little bit to get to what I want specifically. So I do get that.
Yeah. I will say people did take their time to try to provide high quality answers.
Yeah.
Which obviously led to the very much like the issue that Stack Overflow had. But, curse and a blessing type thing.
Yeah.
But genuinely there was like good stuff like from experience.
Right. Like people were just like, you will run into this issue, so do blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah. Like the most niche thing ever you could find on there.
Exactly. I actually wrote a blog post recently, and I can link it in the chat, but it was me saying like, don't give up your brain. There are some things where like, when you ask an LLM for help and stuff, there's some things where it's just like, if you thought for like 2 minutes more, you probably could figure this out yourself. You don't need to just be like, give me the answer constantly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is something that we're seeing more and more, not just in tech, but in general. People are like, oh, well, I didn't write this email because I had ChatGPT do it for me or something like that. And someone asked me to review their LinkedIn bio recently, and I was just like, this doesn't sound like you. And I can tell you used AI to write it. And I remember telling this person, I said, just write your story and let me edit that or refine that instead of giving me like what you think it should sound like from ChatGPT, because human writing is so much better in general.
Yeah.
And so many human things are so much better. And if you give up your brain for it, your brain is the tool that you're going to keep for the rest of your life. And so you want to not just like let go of all of it.
I'm hoping it gets people to value soft skills more, because it is what will be unique. Because AI essentially automating stuff that used to take months to years to learn. Well, then now you have no nothing else but to really work on your personality.
Yeah.
Like maybe you should be able to, have random conversations with people
Yeah.
and find hobbies and stuff like that, because you then bring all of that to the work, to the team, and to I think that just makes better work and better products.
Yeah. I fully agree with that, and I feel like all of this AI stuff came out at a really weird time with the pandemic, where,
Yeah,
like, people were losing a lot of social skills because they weren't talking to humans because they were
yeah,
inside, and now AI can do all this thinking for them, and I feel like, in general, we kind of have to improve as a society those skills again and build those muscles again.
yeah. And I'm like a try to be like the most positive person ever. I'm always just like, this is happening for a reason. And
Yeah.
I genuinely believe it's like so we can connect again
Mm.
in ways that like used to be, I don't want to sound like back in my day, right? But back
Yeah.
in my day, it was like just call somebody
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, how
What
are
a
you?"
concept.
What a right? Just be able to have a random chat about nothing for, and like, and I think that's one of the things I love about living in New York. Like, you can just walk somewhere and randomly start having a conversation with someone,
Right.
and that could turn into you learning some new thing, and then I don't know. It's quite beautiful. So
I agree with you. That's I similarly in Chicago too, like, there is a point where we walked recently and just got some burgers nearby, and it was freezing outside, but we wanted burgers, and we were just, like, sitting at this outdoor table,
mm,
and just some people came by, and they're just like, "It's cold. Have you seen any good movies recently?" And we were just talking with strangers, but it was
yeah,
great,
yeah,
and that's
it's gonna
something
feel
that
so good.
yeah, it's nice, and it's a thing that, like, should happen more. We are social beings, and maybe, like, I just want AI to, like, do my laundry, and then all my problems will be solved. It'll be great.
Yeah, you have more time to do stuff that you genuinely enjoy.
Yeah. I saw that we had a question that I wanna hit on before we start running out of time, but are there any newsletters you recommend subscribing to for keeping up with general AI tools and concepts?
Yeah, I gotta find them though.
Okay. We'll keep talking. I'm gonna shill my own personal newsletter, although it's more like, it's more of like a general tech newsletter rather than,
Mm,
an AI specific one, but I'm gonna plop that in the chat anyway. Cassadoo.co/newsletter. That one is mine.
love it.
Um, but yeah, for general AI tools and concepts, GitHub also puts out like 4 newsletters. And so if you wanna know from, like, the GitHub angle, there are so many of the GitHub newsletters. Particularly on the GitHub LinkedIn, you can if you find the GitHub LinkedIn, you can see it.
Yeah, I like. This kind of an obvious one, but Simon Willison,
Oh, yeah. His is really good.
fantastic, great one. Also, what's it like? The Pragmatic Engineer. I think
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
it's.
I'm just going
Uh,
to dump links in the chat as
yeah,
you say them out loud.
that's a good one too. I like. Oh my goodness. I think it's Hamal.dev, talks a lot more about like evals and things like that. Pretty good. Uh, Python speed, if you're more focused in like Python related stuff. Python speed is a good one. What's another one? Hold on. I know there's one more that I really like. I forgot this one. Elite AI assisted coding .dev. There's dashes in there. That's a good one too.
That is really hard to type. Okay. Elite AI assisted coding with dashes.
Elite-AI-assisted-coding.dev. That's by Eleanor, who is freaking awesome. Always trying stuff, sharing stuff. And yeah,
Oh,
I feel like those
cool.
are the
I'm
ones
subscribing to these, like, actively as you recommend them.
yeah, they're pretty good ones. And then one thing I will say is I try to limit my reading of newsletters to like once a week. So like Sunday.
Mm.
Cause then if I don't,
Yeah.
I'm trying stuff all the time and then I
That's a
can't do my
great
work.
I was just thinking, like, that would keep me more focused. I should probably do that too.
Yeah.
'Cause, I like getting I read them throughout the week, but it's more just to, like, get occasional morsels of interesting stuff outside of,
Mhm.
like, work, 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 because 'cause we're doing so much at work. Um, But yeah, it would probably be good to just do that once or twice a week to maintain focus a
Yeah.
little bit.
Have your little moment, like your AI moment, like your AI educational moment. Sit down with like a cup of something,
Yeah.
make it a thing,
Yeah. Have moments with
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's honestly a good point. I feel that way more about social media and stuff too, especially like tech social media.
Mhm.
So many things are happening all the time, always. And I find myself getting distracted. And I've been getting better this year at just like scrolling less because as soon as you start scrolling, you're like, oh, that's a good idea. That could be a side project. I should post about that. And you're like,
Yeah.
there's so many things constantly.
Especially for our type of work, the like, oh man, I could have done that. I could have posted that. It's like,
Right.
oh, it's never
All
ending.
the time.
Yeah, yeah. We
But
could have
then there's
posted 10
also
things
really
better.
good personal tool ideas where I see that and I'm just like, wait, that's a good one. I
Mhm,
should make that for myself.
mhm.
And then you can.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah. Well, we only have 3 minutes left till the top of the hour, and we have to work, do our jobs and stuff,
Yeah.
but eh. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you, Gwen, so much for hanging out on the stream today. It was
Thanks for the
so
invite.
fun.
This was
Yeah.
awesome. Good
Yeah, it was
chat.
great. Good chat with everybody. We will be here again next week. Every Thursday is Rubber Duck Thursdays here at GitHub, and so we have a stream that's early in the morning for us. I wanna say it's at 10:30 AM UK time. It's like 4:30 AM my time, but, like, at that time for anybody in that neck of the world, time zone-wise. We also have a Spanish-speaking stream run by our coworker, Andrea, and that is gosh, I should have these time zones in my head. Earlier than today. I wanna say it's like 4 hours earlier than this one. It's usually at about, I wanna say 10 AM Eastern time.
Mm.
Um, and then there's this one that's at this time, and we might be adding some more time zones so it's more, friendly for APAC time zones and regions and stuff. But if you ever have any questions or requests for Rubber Duck Thursdays, let us know. And also come by tomorrow for Open Source Fridays. I don't know who's on the schedule. That schedule is always growing and changing. Last week we had 3 Open Source Friday streams, but if you head to the GitHub channels on Fridays, chances are you will see a very good live stream.
Yep.
Cool.
You'll find something you'll like at some point somewhere.
We will be
Like and subscribe.
around on the internet chatting to you. But anyway, we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.